Oh, I'm excited for this because you guys know, I mean, you guys know me. I've never told a lie in my entire life, right? So, we're going to do a tier list. Easiest heroes to one trick to GM. Ooh. Alright, once again, since you guys know I have never told a lie in my life, I'm going to give you guys the best one-trickable tier list I have ever delivered in my entire career. That is absolutely not bait. Alright, let's start with Diva here. I think just because Diva's pretty trash right now, I feel like there's so many better tanks than Diva right now. I think Diva's in a pretty mid spot. But since she's pretty mid, oh, I'm already struggling. I'm on my first gun, I'm already struggling. Since she's pretty mid, oh, I'm gonna put her C tier. I'm gonna put her C tier because she's not that good right now. And I actually feel like Diva's one of the only tanks left where, like, extreme decision making actually matters. Like, you have to hold space with Diva. You have to be, like, responsible with, like, boosters. And I actually feel like Diva's, like, you have to do a lot to get a lot. And I feel like a lot of tanks aren't that way. So I'm gonna say Diva's C tier, just for those reasons. I feel like that's pretty fair. Wrecking Ball. I'm sorry, man, and I feel like this isn't up for debate. Like I'll try not to be too into it about like who's like really good at this exact time, but like Ball with the change of one tank, like Overwatch 1 was 2 tanks, Overwatch 2 having 1 tank. Like the second you don't do something with Ball, S tier is being the hardest. S tier is the hardest. S tier is the easiest. Yeah, I lied. S tier is the easiest. Yes. Okay. I got it backwards. No, I just got it backwards. I'm a boomer. I'm 27 years old. Ball is absolutely not the easiest hero to one-trick to GM. He is absolutely the hardest to one-trick to GM. Because with the change of Overwatch 2, with 1 tank, the second you're not set up with Ball, like, the other tank normally just walks in and kills your entire team. So if you're not learning all your Ball tech and setting up, like, hyper quick, you're just going to be on the struggle bus. Take it from somebody who actually, like, played a little bit of Wrecking Ball. To me, Wrecking Ball might be the hardest hero out of the entire tier. I feel like Zarya and Diva are always in, like, the same boat. She doesn't do really that well unless, like, it's, like, an up-close map. And even then, I feel like there's just better picks right now. Zarya's not... Zarya's not that easy right now, right? So I'm gonna put Zarya C tier. I just feel like there's other tanks right now where the situations are just like 10 times better. So I feel like Zarya's also pretty hard. She's not too easy right now. All right, that brings us to Ashe. I would say Ashe is actually easier than most DPS. I'm gonna put Ashe in A tier because, like, right, if you're mechanically sound in Overwatch or in FPS games in general and you like lock Ashe, like, I don't think you need to learn extreme amount of the game. Like, Ashe doesn't have much like in-depth game knowledge, if that makes sense. If you're like mechanically good, you could probably pick up Ashe. I'm not saying it's easy. It's definitely not easy still, but you could probably just pick up Ashe, be like mechanically sound, and probably like carry games if you get a mercy pocket or something. All right, Bastion. He's definitely not easy because I don't think he's good. He's definitely one of the harder heroes. I'm trying to think here. I'm gonna put Bastion low C. Definitely one of the harder heroes. I don't think he's at his like Wrecking Ball's level, but again, it's just compared to other heroes right now. He's like not that great. I mean, without his ult did get better, but without Sentry, like you use Sentry, it wears off. That sucks. Like if you use Sentry, you don't kill something. Like I surely hope we don't get smoked now. So like if you're like a smart enough player, the second you see Sentry kite, it ends, then you fight. You know what I mean? So I feel like you put a lot of stock into like good Sentry usage. You know what I mean? If you're wasting it, I feel like you're just gonna be pretty useless. Like Bastion is scary. I know. And like if a team is actually playing around Bastion, it's really hard. But I think at like the core of it, I like low C. He's definitely hard. I don't think he's D tier hard, but he's definitely hard for sure. All right, Cassidy, good old cool Cassidy. Right now, there's just so many better like hit scan options. Like even like Sojourn, his like damage fall off. I feel like is pretty brutal. I think Cassidy's in a pretty bad spot right now. Am I about to? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna put Cassidy. I think Cassidy's harder than Bastion. I think Cassidy's also like a pretty hard hero as well. I think his damage fall is brutal. His new like grenade is like pretty good, but it's just like I feel like you're never often in like situations where someone's that up close to you where you can get massive value out of it, opposed to like Ashe Dynamite or Sojourn Railgun, things like that. You know, I think Cassidy's pretty bad. I think his kit is pretty limited compared to what other heroes can do. He's not extremely mobile. His gun, I mean, his gun does good damage up close, but that's like the point I'm making. Like, a lot of good heroes in Overwatch on DPS are kind of like long-range heroes. And like, Cassidy is long-range because he's technically hit scan, but I feel like with the fall-off, it becomes a little bit harder. I think Cassidy's like pretty not it right now. But like, if you told me like you think Cassidy should be B tier, I would say okay. If you told me D tier, I'd go maybe. But I like C tier. Echo. A lot of problems you have with Echo is you normally do need a Mercy Pocket. If you're not running the Mercy Pocket, Echo is no doubt more complicated. Another reason Echo is hard, though, because her ult, you actually do need to know a good portion of the hero pool to get value with her ult. I'm going to put Echo in B. She's hard. She's hard, but I think with how much damage she does, pocketed normally with a good Mercy, I feel like you do so much damage, you farm ult so quickly. The only kicker... I do think it's hard to learn all the heroes comfortably to make copy a relevant ability, you know what I mean? If you just pick up Overwatch, you lock Echo, if you don't know how to play Diva or Ramattra or what are other good copy heroes, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, your ult's going to be relatively pretty trash. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to say B tier. I think she does a lot of damage, go with Mercy. But the ult, you actually have to kind of like know the game and know how to play other heroes to get value with it. Genji, whew, our favorite cyber ninja dude. He obviously is not good right now. Pretty much Genji, here's how you win. You have to be good with your blades. And that's assuming you even have an Ana. So there's a lot of stock in your ultimate. Without the ultimate, it's kind of hard to get value with Genji if you're not doing like insane blades and the comp is right. He is definitely one of the harder heroes to be getting value with. No doubt. I think he's without a doubt D tier. I was seeing so many Genjis at Master. He's so bad. Like, he's so bad. Like, I don't know. You just have to, like, win with blades. Like, pretty much the tale of time with Genji. You just have to win with blade. I think C tier is a hot take. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go D tier, and I'm pretty confident that he is without a doubt D tier. All right, Hanzo. He's definitely not D tier. I honestly think he's similar. I'm actually conflicted. He is a one shot, right? Storm arrows is good, but it's not like Hanzo's like absurd. I'm gonna go high B. I'm actually very conflicted on this. I'm very conflicted on this one actually. Like, Hanzo's definitely not easy, right? He's no doubt he's not an easy hero, but I don't think he's like a hard hero either, because like you can kind of just get away with like spamming angles a lot and stuff, and like they are like, you know, normally one shot headshots, like 200 HP targets, stuff like that. So I think it's disrespectful to say he's easy. I also think it would be a reach to say he's extremely hard. I feel like high B is I would say a pretty good take. Hanzo's a weird one. I agree, because like he has a one shot. I feel like generally heroes that have one shots are like easier to play, because you need to know less about the game. But like Hanzo does have one of the harder one shots. It's not like it's hit scan where you're like clogging people from across the map. Alrighty, J Sill. Yeah, he's like for sure the hardest hero to psych. Nah, fuck that dude. Junkrat players, they're kind of smelly. This dude is no doubt one of the easiest heroes to fucking one trick into GM. No doubt in my mind. There is, I will admit, like there is Junkrat tech that is kind of nifty to know to like get the value with them. But most of the time I'm listening to a Junkrat player, it's not because it's like, wow, like his tech was insane. Like, what a good, sophisticated Junkrat player. It's normally just this, he just like, pew, 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 and I just like randomly get hit by one of them and fucking die. I'd be shocked if I find a hero easier than Junkrat right now. I'm sorry. Junkrat players, I'll fight you on it. I'm sorry, bro. He ain't it. He just ain't it. He ain't it. He's a one shot. Yeah, and like, his mobility is actually good. His spam's crazy. He is pretty much a one shot. I mean, like, come on, guys, it's a freaking one shot. Riptire, it's a pretty, I would say it's a above average ult, right? I don't think it's like insanely high tier, but it's damn good. Yeah, Junkrat S tier. Not changing my mind. I'm not willing to wiggle on this. Oh god, I feel like TSG Spooky might get mad at me for this one. May. It's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy. Thinking. No shot May is harder than Ball and Genji, right? There's no shot we put May in D tier. How about this? I'll split the gap of the tanks. I'm gonna put Mei like higher C. I don't think, again, like Wrecking Ball, Genji are just like hard heroes right now, and like I like positioning is at a premium for Mei too. But compared to like, you know, like Ball, Genji and stuff, I'm not seeing it. I think Bastion, Cass, if you just have good mechanics, you can still like slither by. Zarya, same thing, good mechanics. You're not really playing like a hyperactive tank. You're just playing off like bubbles and high charge. I think Diva's a little harder than Mei. I think Mei in like the C area is actually like pretty respectable. I would say I was thinking this as well, but like maybe easier than some. But I do think Mei does take creativity. I think that's fair. I think decision making on Mei is way harder than Zarya. I think Diva's harder than both of them, even though they're different rules. But you know. All right. Now we're getting to the slimy heroes. We got a lot of slime coming up right here. Doomfist. I mean, let's be real, guys. There's like Doom's tough. Like he's definitely hard. He's definitely not easy. I feel like there's a lot of mechanics that go down with Doomfist. He's just like there's just better tanks. I don't know, dude. I think he's the best, the easiest of the D tier. Is that height? Is that spicy? Is that hot? I think Doom's easier than Genji and Ball. I feel like that's reasonable, right? That's not crazy. I think that's reasonable. Doom's, I don't know, like there's just better tanks than Doom right now. I feel like Doom, there's like a lot of like setting up and stuff you have to do, way harder than other heroes. But I think the difference between Ball and Doom, like Doom can actually kind of like not one shot, but Doom can like set up and kill a target if he does his setup right. I feel like the problem I have with Ball, and I actually play a lot of Wrecking Ball, so I feel like I have a fair grounds with this. The problem with Wrecking Ball is he doesn't have a one shot. So like normally even if you like, you know, grapple, slam, you do a lot of damage, but it seems to never be enough to actually kill a target. So I'm fine with this, and I think this is right. You say Genji's the easiest in D? Fair. I'm not budging on Wrecking Ball. I like this. If you wanted to give me this, I would say fair. Playing for Blade maybe does become a little bit easier, but I like where I'm at. Pharah. Should we assume this is a pharmacy, or is this just Pharah? Like outright? Because if you're just playing Pharah game in and game out, and we're assuming there's no pocket, she's going to be freaking impossible. No mercy. Can't assume. Okay. My goodness. I mean, Jesus. She has to be D tier then, right? If you're playing Pharah every game without a pocket, like she has to be low end D tier. Yeah, like she had, because like if we have to assume that, which is fair of chat, I agree. Like I can't assume there's a pharmacy. If there was a pocket, I'd probably have like similar to Echo, right? Probably B, low B. If we're assuming game in game out, it's RNG whether we get a mercy. I'm gonna go D tier. Like Pharah without mercy is notoriously just pretty terrible. I'd take a Genji any day over Pharah without mercy. So I'm gonna go bottom barrel. I'm gonna say Pharah is C just because mercy is relatively popular. That's fair. But then I would have to assume, and I think it is fair that we don't assume, right? We don't assume. But I would say B tier if pocket. Reaper, he's just not good. He's just not good. Like especially with like current tanks like Ram, Orisa. Like I guess he's like okay into Ram, but like, God, this is hard. This is actually way harder than I thought it was gonna be. Just like close range shotguns. Like a lot of Reaper is just like setting up well and like almost like being like a flanker. I feel like frontline Reaper only works if like your team's coordinated. You know what I mean? Well, a lot of the time, especially in like mid lower elos, your team's never gonna be coordinated to play with the Reaper. Just the fact that he's close range, and I do feel like comp is pretty dependent on Reaper's value. D tier. A? You guys think Reaper is A tier? B or A? A tier? There's no way, man. Reaper is not that good. Reaper without the right comp, if you get forced out, like you're just done for. Oh, I think you guys are way hyping how easy Reaper is. Reaper is so bad. I agree. Especially if you're not running shit to enable him, like Lucio and Kiriko. If you're not running those type of things, I feel like it's so hard or so easy to force Reaper out, which makes it so hard for Reaper to get value. Nah, I'm sticking with it. I don't know any Reaper OTPs in Masters GM. Agreed. I don't like. He's just not good. Like when you are fully supporting him, he's okay. But again, we can't assume. He's hard. I agree. Close range. Again, like if your comp's not like built around you, complicated. Oh, all right. Well, everyone's favorite hero, the Overwatch 2 killer, Sojourn. Obviously, I'm actually conflicted here. The decision we make. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm gonna keep it like this, like it is for this reason. At least Junkrat sometimes has to kind of go out of his way to make plays. You know what I mean? It's not like he just, like, you can spam as Junkrat from like a distance, but let's be real, that's like not where your value is. Junkrat's value, you do kind of have to set up and get into like one-shot position, whereas Sojourn, not so much. You just have to kind of spam, like your railgun. It doesn't really matter like distance. So I think just from the positional sense, I'm gonna say Sojourn's harder. I'm sorry, this is the hardest decision yet. I'm gonna say Sojourn. At least Junkrat, you kind of have to be creative. Like, Sojourn takes literal zero creativity. Zero creativity. Junkrat, like, to be your best, you do have to be kind of creative sometimes. I'm gonna put Sojourn at the top of the mountain right now. I don't know if that's gonna change. Soldier 76, early C tier, huh? C tier for Soldier. And honestly, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm gonna do this, actually. I'm gonna put Soldier at the top of B. I do think Soldier at times still does take creativity. Not to like the overwhelming extent. I just think Soldier, right in the middle hero, he's your typical FPS, hit scan, you know. He has mobility. The ult's good, not crazy. I would say it's not necessarily easy or hard to one-trick Soldier. Like, he fits in every comp, long range, hit scan, decent ult, survivability good, but like it's not like his kit's oppressive either. Sombra, man, my god, this is hard. Bottom D, yeah. I mean, like Hack's not as good as it used to be. They kind of like wrenched her with the changes. She doesn't do a lot of damage. I feel like it takes a long time to build EMP. It's not consistent damage. It's not consistent picks. Pretty freaking hard. I feel like you gotta be pretty. I feel like Sombra, you have to be pretty smart actually to make it work. She can work at times, but like straight one tricking, no shot. Bottom D. Symmetra. I don't know if I'm gonna get villainized for this take. I actually think one-tricking Symmetra is pretty okay. I don't think she's gonna be I think Symmetra actually climbs above all the D tier heroes. I think if you want to give me a this type scenario, I would agree with you also. I'm reassessing. I'll do this. That's as high as I'll go. I'll put her just about mid C. She's definitely hard. She's definitely not harder than the D tier heroes. I think she's intertwinable with Bastion and Cassidy. I think Diva is harder. I think Diva's harder. I'm gonna do this. So yeah, you convinced me. She worked her way up. Because I do think Sim is another one of those heroes that just takes creativity. You know what I mean? You gotta be creative on Sim. If you're not creative on Sim, you're gonna linger. Alright, Torbjorn. Okay, let's see here. I know there's a lot of Torb enjoyers here. You might not like this take. I'm gonna put him top of the A mount. He has to. God, I mean, you're not doing anything in depth with Torb here. You're trying to get decent like peel turret setups. You're like spamming into chokes. He's like really hard to kill. His ult's actually like pretty decent zoning ult. Like Torb to me is for sure easier than other heroes. At least Ashe, Soldier do take like mechanical execution. I feel like at Torbjorn not so much. You get away with doing stupid stuff. Like good turret spots are annoying. I'm gonna go high A. Put the turret where it has to be, and that's better than Soldier already. That's what I mean. Like, if you put the turret where it has to be, and you're not just, like, letting it get destroyed every 2 seconds, he is, like, a nuisance and a pest. And I do feel like he's pretty universal to every comp in the game. Alright, Tracer. Tracer is not as good as she used to be in her past, but I feel like executing Tracer is so hard right now. But, like, you can just, like, demolish and carry as well. Low B. And I was actually considering putting her in C tier. But I feel like the C tier block is getting a little too heavy. Tracer, hard carry sometimes, but the mechanical or like the game sense. I think Tracer. I think that's a good word for Tracer. It's just game sense. There's a lot of game sense that's involved. It's not just like I'm gonna point and shoot. It's that easy. There's a lot of like setting up and engaging and things like that. No, you're right. I gotta go B. You're right. Because like if you grind Tracer and learn those things, You can be way more like independent than like some of these heroes. I'll go low B. All right. Now we go back to Pain. Widowmaker, like there's no hard positional setups. The only hard part about Widow is like mechanic. To play Widow in Overwatch, you don't even really need to know much about the game. You're mostly just taking like other sniper duels. You're like setting up in positions. You have a grapple to like escape, like Venom Mine for your awareness. Like I don't think Widow takes much like tactical thinking in the game of Overwatch. So like if you're mechanically good, there are maps where Widow isn't good, but I'll go mid A. Cause like there are for sure bad Widow maps. Like Widow is hard to be consistent through and through, but if you are consistent and you're like mechanically sound, like you're gonna not need to know much about the game of Overwatch to get it popping. You know what I mean? I do think Widow is the hardest to be the most consistent of the three. All right, Ana. I think Ana does low-key have like a pretty good kit. I'm gonna go low A. I don't think I'm gonna put her quite at S. I think that's a bit of a reach, but I think Ana, there's so many things you can do. You can do a lot of damage, you can do a lot of healing. Nano boost is still pretty good. You have CC, anti-nade. Like she does have a pretty good universal kit where you can kind of. To me in Ana, there's plenty of ways you can get value. Yeah, I'm a sick A. I'm a sick A. All right, Junker Queen. I hear people saying all the time that Junker Queen's like terrible. I don't think she's as bad as other people say. I just think there's some tanks that are just too good. That makes sense. Is she easier than Zarya? Definitely not. Harder. I like this. I like where I'm at with this. I think people built this into their head that Junker Queen's just a terrible hero, but I don't see it that way. I think she's probably one of the weaker tank heroes, but I don't think she's horrible. Does that make sense? She's definitely harder because she's weaker. I'm gonna stick with mid tier. Mid C tier. My mind is made up. Baptiste. The problem we run into with Baptiste is, like, he can be good in the right comp, but once you start running a bunch of, like, mobile heroes and stuff, like, his healing just becomes, like, pretty obsolete. But, like, his damage is good, immortality field good, regenerative burst, a good burst heal so you can play aggressive. I do think there are some comps that make it painful, whereas Ana, I think you can fit her anywhere. For that, I'm gonna put Bap. How about we throw Bap at the top of B? I'm gonna go top B. I think Ana has a little more universalness. Bap does have like a good kit for one trickage though. There's just a problem that comes down the road where there are some comps you can run into where Bap is kind of hard to get value. You know what I mean? I just think Ana is just more universal, which makes her a little bit easier. I think Bap has a good like support kit to go hard though. All right. Oh, this is gonna Brig. Oh my goodness. It's weird because like people say like the kit's easy, but like the hero's not good. You know what I mean? She's like a niche hero now. So like I think climbing the gym, you actually kind of have to be like Giga Brain. I feel like I'm gonna get slandered. I'm actually gonna get slandered for this. I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go B tier. I don't think Brig's that good in too many comps anymore. There's just always better picks. It's hard. Guys, hear me out. It's hard. Like, if you're versing, like, good heroes, like, what the hell is Brig supposed to do? Against, like, Sojourn and Junkrat. Like, you're literally just gonna stand there. I think it's hard to play. I think people that think Brig's easy don't play Brig. There. I said it. I think when you're playing Brig and they're running some stupid ass comp where it's impossible to proc Inspire and you're just standing there on your endeavor to GM, you're gonna be like, this is terrible. I'm gonna die on this hill. I think you guys are capping. She's not easy. She's not hard. Like if she's versing the right comp, it gets easier. If she's versing a terrible comp, it gets 10 times harder. I think I'm just putting it right down the middle. You guys literally just lost your mind and got personal with me for no reason. Because I have cultured takes. I'm sorry my takes are better than yours. S and A tier looking kind of dry. Until... Kiriko. My goodness, do I do it? I'm gonna go S. I'm gonna go top. Because at least now, when Sojourn doesn't have a mercy, it's like slightly less oppressive. Still OP, annoying, awful. But you can literally just play Kiriko everywhere, and there's no ramifications of what the enemy team plays. It doesn't matter what your team plays. You have the best ult in the game. You do damage. Your heals are good. You have a cleanse. You can climb walls. Am I missing anything? Did I say teleport? I think Kiriko's the worst. Healbot the GM. I agree. I really think you can. I'm gonna stick with this. I'm gonna go top of the mountain. Lucio. All right. There's a lot of mechanics that come with it right now with Lucio, like wall riding, like being smart, whether to like engage, disengage, passive, be aggressive. I think Lucio does take a lot of game sense. I know there's bad examples with like streamers like being like Reddit Lucios, but I do think a good Lucio takes a lot of quick critical thinking. He's definitely not like absurdly hard, but he's definitely not easy either. Low B. I'm gonna go low B. I'm gonna go low B. I'm honestly, I'm impartial here. Like there is a lot of work that involves like Lucio being good, but I think it would be disrespectful saying Lucio is harder than like any of these guys, and also very disrespectful to say he's easier than a lot of these heroes. I think he's just like right in the hunt of the mid pack. Yeah, so for that I'm gonna stick with it. All right, Mercy. This is gonna be another. I feel like this is gonna be a controversial one. No matter what decision I make. I mean, I think the movement's like way more in depth. Like it's definitely hard to be more. Well, they made it easier to be more survivable on Mercy, but I will say this: you know when there's a bad Mercy on your team. I'm not saying that makes it like mechanically intensive, but you know when there's a bad Mercy on your team, right? Fair. She's pretty easy right now, just with the current structure of Overwatch 2. Easier than on What about that right there? What about mid A tier? What about that? I like that. I think if you tried to tell me this scenario should happen, I honestly wouldn't call you crazy. I'm gonna stick with mid A. Mercy, I think Mercy just takes like kind of like game sense, critical thinking, just like hardcore playing your life. Those things aren't easy. Like, but I think in comparison to other heroes, it's easier. Like a lot of heroes being picked right now, Mercy plays into very well. Moira. Again, like Moira, if you want to be good on Moira, it takes creativity. Like, if you're going to be just, like, super passive, safe, like, heal bot, I'm going to follow my tank all over the map type Moira, you're not going to make it to GM. Hard. What about this? Mid C? Hey, she's one of those heroes, like, again, she's one of those heroes where, like, I would be open to different opinions. Like, bottom C. There's no way Moira is harder than Diva, though. Nah, maybe. Maybe, actually. I'm good with that. Moira, man. Yeah, I think it's fair. Like, there's definitely creativity that's involved. But, like, you're not, like, you don't need, like, mechanical skill. But, like, I do think creative thinking is important. Ooh. Zenyatta. Ooh. All right. Ooh, you know, Zen Affleck in the house, reporting for duty. The pioneer of this tier list finally gets to decide his main's fate. No bias. Takes S tier game sense. I do think you have to be one of the smarter players to make Zen work. I think his aiming is like overhyped at how hard it actually is. Most of the time you're just like spamming chokes. His abilities are you just toss them as you please. There's no cooldowns. You don't waste anything. You can waste Trank, but you don't waste your primary and secondary. I think the second you make a slight mistake, you're punished. But like if you can just be smart and not die all the time, I do think sometimes just living off discords are valuable. I'm not ready to put him into D tier. I think that's disrespectful to the D tier heroes. I think Zen. I'm gonna go bottom pack Zen here. I'm gonna go bottom C for Zen. I don't think Overwatch 2 wants to be fast, Zen's slow. You have to be smart. Orisa, definitely easy mode tank. Probably the easy mode tank. Even with their changes. She's just super hard to kill. Her entire kit is built around surviving, just being unkillable. She's definitely fucking easy, man. She joins the block. I think she joins the block, man. I have to. Super hard to kill, does good damage, takes space good. You still have to play the hero at the end of the day, but like you can't tell me Orisa plays herself like 50% of the time. Half the tanks are S tier. I agree. Which leads me to my second tank, Ramattra. I mean, like, I have to. I literally have to, man. Dude, all this motherfucker does, you verse Ramattra and he goes. And then he just stands there. He literally just stands there and just takes 90% reduced damage. He just stares at you. Meanwhile, he's doing like 760 damage per second, just staring at you. Let's go. Punch. Kill somebody. Fucking blocks. Stares at you. Doing value. Shit's so dumb. Like Ram, I think Ram is harder than Orisa, but I mean, come on. Not that much. Reinhardt, I think he's mid D, right? C? Nah, dude, Ryan's so bad, dude. Ryan's so bad. No, I'm gonna stick with it. Because Reinhardt, like, sure, you can, like, cancel pin now for mobility, but, like, he's pretty much just, like, a mobile rectangle. It's, like, hard to be super aggressive with him. Every hero in the game just has extreme mobility, survivability. Like, by the time you actually close the gap on somebody that is killable, they're normally just gone. Clean engages are, like, impossible if people are running the right things. Even though Roadhog seems to be gutted, like, I mean, he's not a hard hero. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, right? He's not a hard hero. Even though he's not good, he's not hard either. And I think it'd be easier to teach somebody to one-trick Hog, opposed to, like, one-tricking, like, Reinhardt or, like, Sombra. Play for hooks, play for kills. Like, that's it. Like, there's not much critical thinking involved. Dude, am I about to do this? Dude, Hog is definitely... No. These here, they're too good. I'm gonna go Hog bottom S. Bottom S Roadhog. Even though he kind of got gutted, like, he can still be okay. He's not great, but he's a pretty direct hero. It's like, okay, you have a hook someone in, try to kill them. Built in, unkillable, especially with Kiriko. But we can't assume, though. We can't assume. But even without Kiriko, like, still massive survivability. Sigma. Ooh. I think Sigma's kind of hard just because other tanks are better. It's not like he's bad, it's just other tanks are better. Like, he's definitely one of the, I'm going to say he's definitely one of the easier heroes still. But just how easy are we talking? I'm going to go bottom of the A block. Sigma B, I think, is fair also. I don't think there's much to his kit. Like, you have a lot of survivability. You have CC. Your ult's pretty good. I would say he's definitely easier than most. And last but not least, Winston Overwatch. I'll tell you right now, he's definitely not easy. Man, I'm about to have to hit him in D tier. Monkey, you got to be smart about cooldowns, like making sure you have primal rage. You have to be aggressive, but not too aggressive, or you insta die. I'm gonna go the top of D. Man, he has so many counters, and like one mistake is just unforgivable. Nah, easier than Diva, perhaps. Here, this is as much as I'll wiggle. I'll go mid C tier. I'm not ready to put him in B tier. He might be easier than Zen, Cass, Bastion. What counters Winston? I mean, anything with like high damage. I like where I'm at. I'm not ready to wiggle on too many of these. What would I be willing to? I think this is a good tier list, and I think this is my final. This is the final tier list right here. And once again, I have never told a lie in my life. This is 100% accurate. My takes are always pristine, spot on. If you don't like them, that just means your opinion's wrong. So.